If your fine hair is fragile, breaks easily, you're scared to use a curling iron, a flat iron, or even your blow dryer, then this video is for you. I'm Chery. I've been a hairstylist for 24 years, specializing in fine hair. And I have fine hair myself that is on the extra fragile side right now. Now, this new fragile hair is extra new to me. I think it boils down to two things. I recently stopped taking my hair supplements about 5-6 months ago. I was taking Nutrafol for about 2 years straight, and my hair was doing pretty good. I also realized that I am severely under eating protein. So apparently my hair just doesn't have the nutrients that it used to. So when I've been highlighting my hair, it just hasn't been able to take it like it used to. So I've been really paying attention to both of those. And I actually just started taking another hair supplement. I'm taking the Viviscal Pro this time, which is a little bit more directed to nutrient deficiencies versus the Nutrafol, which is good for like all the things, but mostly hormones and like inflammatory issues like that. So hopefully with my new protein intake and my supplements over the next few months, I can eventually get back to where it once was. All right, so let's get into how I'm styling my fragile hair while it's in this state. I'm gonna show you exactly how I prepped to protect my hair, the products that I'm reaching for, and the hot tools that I'm using to get this nice soft wave without being too hard on it. First off, let's start off with the prep because honestly, that is what makes the biggest difference on fine, fragile hair. Since I'm actively repairing my hair, I started off already with the K18 repair mask. I only used about a pea size to start off with, and I applied it to the mid-lengths to the ends first, and then I ended off around the hairline where my hair is the most fragile. I made sure to really just focus on the areas that are in a more of a desperate need of repair. You really just need a tiny bit. You really don't want to overdo it because honestly, you don't need to and you don't want to weigh your hair down. Now, as you can see, my hair is already about 90% dry, which is how I really prefer to do it. You're not going to be using as much heat on it from your blow dryer, and you're not going to have to use as much friction. I still am going to use my Candy Stripe detangling spray, mainly because this is also a heat protectant. It's a lot more beneficial when your hair is wet, so it does help detangle, but that is another reason why it is really good to let your hair air dry because it automatically kind of detangles itself. So I'm going to spray it roots to ends, but a little bit more liberal on the mid shaft to ends, and I'm going to be a little bit more light-handed on my roots because I don't want to weigh them down, but I do want them to have heat protectant. Anytime you can have a multi-purpose product, it's a good idea with fine hair because the less products, the less likely you are to weigh your hair down. Now, I want to add a little bit of root lift, and I'm going to be using the K18 AstroLift mainly because it has repair benefits from the K18, so you're getting damage repair, so it's going to be a lot more gentle on your fragile hair, but also it gives a nice root lift without weighing your hair down. Now, with blonde hair or fragile hair or dry hair, I try not to put the volumizing products meant for lift. I try not to put it on the mid shaft to ends where it's gonna be a little bit more dry, just because honestly, I feel like products like that can, I don't know, make your hair feel a lot drier. So if you do want to use some sort of volumizing product for your ends, either use a cream or lotion or wait till the end to add your texture and volume, which is what we're gonna be doing. For me, I'm really just going to focus on like the mohawk section. So we get a little bit of lift and structure and hold as well. All the things. And then we'll get the rest of the body and lift from our dry volumizing products. We're gonna be using my T3 Featherweight Max. I really love this blow dryer. A lot of people in the comments always ask what blow dryer I'm using, and I have been using this and loving it. I set it on the coolest option for my heat and the highest option for my airflow. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start blow drying it. I am going to lift my hair up and blow dry it. I'm not gonna be using a round brush today. I wanted to reduce the friction, and I don't really want the roundness that a round brush is gonna give me on my ends, because we're gonna be creating more of like a soft wave, and we want our ends to be a little bit more straight. So I'm going to, like I said, lift my hair up and blow dry it that way, so I'm getting a lift off of my scalp without a round beveled bend. Another thing I want to mention is I normally use my head as a round brush, and I will wrap my hair around my head to give it extra volume. But because I have some shorter pieces, I don't want those to stick out, because that's what will happen. So for my bangs and the fringe around my hair, I am just going to be using my flat brush and my blow dryer, and I'm gonna just be smoothing them down. So I'm not going for that lifted look. I'm gonna be going for the let's not have my hairs around my hairline stick straight up look. So it's gonna be more of a smooth look until we get to our curling iron and our flat iron. Because I used the K18 today and it was a cream, it kind of helped smooth down any frizz that I have. And sometimes when you use products that are a little bit heavier, I mean, it is a cream, so it's gonna be heavier than a spray, you might get a little bit more of an oily look, but sometimes you have to prioritize the moisture on fragile hair. So what I do to mitigate that is at the end, you can pre-treat your hair with a dry shampoo, and it literally fluffs it back up and makes it look new again. So if we feel like we need to do that, which I probably will, because then it allows me to go 3 days without needing to wash my hair, which is going to help reduce the friction and the heat tools and all the things. So we'll get to that. I just wanted to mention it. So we did not end up needing to use any oil today. And my hair does feel a little bit weighed down, but like I said, I'm going to fluff it back up and you will never even know. But it was more important for me to have moisture and protection in my hair than it is to have it nice and fluffy, because if I didn't do that, it would have just been frizzy and dry. And so I gotta do what I gotta do. We are going to be using a flat iron and a curling iron today. All right, so a few ground rules when it comes to using heat with a flat iron and a curling iron. I recommend never going over 350 degrees. And even that, I would start off with 300 or 320, because you wanna be low and controlled versus like hot and fast. And the hair around your face, always curl and style last, because your hot tools are always the hottest when you first use them, and your hair around your hairline does not need as much heat. It's way more fragile, so I always turn it down, save that for the last. Now, before we get into that, like I said earlier, I was going to show you how I'm gonna fluff back up my hair so it doesn't look oily. So there's a couple different dry shampoos that I like to use. The Serene Scalp Oil Control Powder by Oribe, and then I really love the R+Co Skyline, which I frequently use, but I feel like right now in my fragile state, I like to use this because it's just a little bit more lightweight and airy and fluffy. Just one of the things I don't like about it is it's just really messy because it only has a tiny little hole, so you have to just work with it. So what I like to do is I tap it in my hair and then brush it in until it is kind of like distributed throughout the hair. Now, there's a lot of people out there that talk so much shit about dry shampoo, and it's mainly probably because they are applying it directly to their scalp, which clogs your scalp and the follicles and all the things. But if you want to do it proper, you know, put the dry shampoo on your hair and not your scalp. Problem solved. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this all around my hairline and brush it in. Like I said, it's really messy. It's annoying when you're wearing a black shirt, but I mean, it really saves the day. And if you're using it on day one, like I am, then you don't even allow the oils to build up, so you don't even get oily hair. So just one of my favorite tricks. Avoid your part line, again, your scalp, but you don't want a white scalp, clearly. Fluffy again, It doesn't look way down, and it doesn't look oily. We just are very messy now. Moving right along to our hot tools, which is why you're here. And for the prep. The prep products are the most important part of the whole curling process. First, I'm gonna use my flat iron to do a little bend underneath my hair and smooth out the ends. And then I'm gonna curl the top layer with my curling iron to give it a nice soft wave. I'm sectioning out just my bottom hair, and for extra added protection, I am going to be using another heat protection spray. This is meant to be applied to dry hair. So I am just gonna spray just a little bit, brush it in. And because my hair is all kinked underneath there, this is where I'm gonna use my flat iron. One of the ways I'm gonna use my flat iron, but I'm just gonna go ahead and smooth the ends to make sure that they're not kinked. Now, if you're somebody who air dries their hair 100% before using hot tools, then you can skip the pre-blow dry heat protection spray and just use a dry heat protection spray. This is the Oribe Gold Lust. It's part of their repair line. Protects it up to 450 degrees. Again, just the ends. This is the T3 curling straightener. I love this thing. It's one of, actually probably the best flat iron I've ever used. Okay, now, bend in, bend out, bend in, bend out. Always do your first tilt down. So down, out, down, out. And back. You're gonna have to do by feel. Trust yourself though, you can do it. You can do it. All right, take your section, in, out, in, out. Now we got our hair, it's like a cute little wave. Now we're gonna do the top section. I am going to be playing with 2 different curling irons. I'm sorry to complicate this for you, but I have really short hair around my hairline, so I'm gonna use a 3/4 inch, this guy. And then for the rest of the hair, I'm gonna be using my 1 inch. Mid clamp, mid strand, twirling away from the face, and then kind of just dragging down the ends to mimic the smoothness and the straightness of the bend that we have underneath. And I feel pretty comfortable because my hair feels nice and smooth gliding through that because we have the heat protectants all up in there. Again, you're gonna have to do for feel, with feel. Grammar. I'm just gonna go ahead and continue around the head, the same exact technique. Another thing, very important, if you mess up and you get a kink in your hair, don't go over that hair immediately. Let it cool and then go back in and do another swipe. You're either gonna fry it or it's just gonna go flat. And this time I'm just gonna tap that crinkled in instead of recurling it. Now this is where I'm going to grab my little curling iron, okay? You can use your 1 inch. I'm gonna use my BaBylissPRO. I have this set to 300. Same technique though, but I have a lot more control with it being smaller than I would have with my big guy. The smaller pieces, I'm gonna do the same thing. Actually, I only have it set at 280. So this goes to show you how much of a good curl that you can get with a lower temperature. Just a little bit. Now, another important thing, I don't think I mentioned this yet. Try to go 3 days without washing, and then you won't have to curl your hair as much. A good rule of thumb to put heat on your hair, such as what we're doing today, I wouldn't do it more than 2 times a week. Then you're giving it a break. You're not gonna add too much heat. And to be honest, this type of style looks really cute on day 2 and 3 up, you know? Wear it up and let some of the cute little tendrils fall. If need be, a little trick is to just wash your bangs Or even just rinse your bangs and then hit that with a low heat blow dryer on day, 2 or 3 if you feel like you really have to. I do understand that people who have like no color in their hair can't go as long without washing. Their hair just gets oily because they don't have the color or the blonde to help with that. So, I get that. But if you're someone like me who has blonde hair or you're dry, extra dry, then you can, get away with, a couple days in between. And you really should. And then you have the dry shampoo as your backup. Pre-treating it with a powder is perfect. Or you can use something like the K18 Air Wash, which I love if you actually need to like soak up oils that are already there. My curls have cooled, and now we're going to give it some texture and some lift. And this is where our real root lift actually comes in. So because we avoided too much volumizing sprays, so we didn't over dry our hair before blow drying it, now we can actually add some texture with like some texture spray or a dry volume spray, which is what I like to use because it has a little less grit than a dry texturizing spray does. It just gives it like fullness and thickness without that grittiness. Like you can literally brush your hair right after. Now I'm going to spray this kind of like up into the hair and then work it in. Make sure that you're spraying enough. Spraying up is a really good rule of thumb to do with any products because you're spraying it up into the root and not on top of the hair. All right, so for pretty much the final product to get it to kind of like stay in place without dousing it with a ton of hairspray is this Oribe swept up dry volume powder is what it's called. There are many out there on the market, but this one's my favorite. I always go back to it. I only use this on the top mohawk section and the fringe. So I just spray it up underneath my layer that I pulled up. I like to spray it up underneath my bangs. This gives it a nice grit and it holds your bangs in place. So if you're somebody whose bangs like to separate throughout the day, this is such a good product to prevent that. Again, up in here on this top section. You don't need a ton because it has good grip. Yeah, and then if you wanted to, you could use a hairspray, but you don't really need to. You want a little bit of messiness. So to recap, prep is the most important, especially when your hair is in a fragile state. Use the lowest heat setting that still works, smaller sections for control, give your hair breaks from heat on your chill days, and try to stretch your watches to 3 days so you're reducing friction and any unnecessary heat damage. And this is exactly how you can style your hair without any unnecessary heat damage while using your favorite hot tools. I hope this gave you some style inspiration or at least a few tips that you can actually use on your own fine hair. I am gonna link everything that I use in the description, and I'm also very excited that I'm building a website where I will have all my favorite fine hair products and tips and all of the things all in one place. So there will be a link in the description to sign up for that to be notified when it launches. If you want more simple, realistic tips for fine hair, then make sure you're subscribed. And thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next one.